Welcome to the 1985 Douglas County Fair, second day, and you've heard a lot about the entertainment at the Douglas County Fair. Of course, Sawyer Brown was here last night. Marshall Tucker will be here on Thursday. Friday night, it'll be Johnny Rivers. And a lot of people have asked how the fair gets the entertainment that they do, and we're going to talk about that today with Ed Doughty, who is from EJD Concert Services, and he lives in Eugene, and he does a lot of fairs a year, and we're going to talk about how he gets the entertainment here. First of all, Ed, talk about concert services for us.
Concert services got started in 1962 in Salem, Oregon, with a bunch of kids that didn't have anything to do, so we opened up some dance halls statewide and started one in Salem, and we had 9 within 2 years, and it was basically just a place for kids to go to have fun.
Okay, now you're from Salem, and you do some fairs. How did you evolve into the fair promotion?
Well, in 1963, the fair wanted a youth program, so they came to me and we put together the first one in 1963. In 1964, we put on a youth fair starring Sonny and Cher.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I talked about the entertainment that we have this year, and you do a lot of fairs a year. How do you decide who's going to be where at what time, and how do you decide which fair they're going to be at and that type of thing?
We start as early as October. I do the Oregon State Fair, and I've already bought most of the acts for '86. We've got 2 acts already in mind for here in '86. But we start in October. I go to the Country Music Awards. I meet with all the artists and a lot of the agents, and we start routing bands. For example, in the month of August, 1 week I'm doing 13 fairs and festivals. We have 280 shows going from one end of the state to the other. I do the Alaska State Fair down into California. And we'll start a group up in Alaska, and we'll go the Alaska State Fair week. There's 5 major fairs going on. There's the Idaho State Fair, the Oregon State Fair, the Bremerton Fair, and the Alaska Fair, and a couple others. And we just take a group, and for example, like we'll take Lee Greenwood and start in one and run him clear up to the other.
Okay, how does the Douglas County Fair decide who they're going to get for entertainment? Is that pretty much your decision, or do they decide from a list, or what?
No, Ron Ingberg and I arm wrestle, and whoever wins gets to pick the one that we want. We do a market study. We see who you're playing. We watch and see who's on TV. The reason we pick Sawyer Brown is because they won Star Search, and it's proven that anybody gets good TV visibility and a little record play usually is a pretty good artist to bring to a fair.
Okay. I noticed there were some people here for Sawyer Brown last night. It's a group that probably isn't well known. What gets them into the concert circuit? They had some fans here last night. People knew who they were. What gets them into the fair concert circuit?
Well, when they won Star Search, that exposure gave them a big start. And then all of a sudden they got a couple of big hits on country charts, and they went to #1. And they're starting. I think this year they're up for the Horizon Award at the Country Music Awards in Nashville. And they're a good up-and-coming group. They seem to be able to cross over and wear the cosmopolitan cowboy look, and they've got a good start going for them.
Okay, Douglas County Fair traditionally has a lot of what we call country artists. Is that a consideration for you when you're trying to decide who's going to play fairs?
Country artists have proven to be successful. If you notice that every fair that we do is pretty much country oriented, because that fan will support that artist. A lot of the rock acts are either too expensive or they're too far down where you can't use them because they won't pull a crowd. Your country artist is pretty consistent.
Okay, Roger Miller was here last year, and Dottie West. These are pretty big names, and you were talking about some of the rock groups being pretty expensive. What are we talking about as far as costs to bring somebody like Roger Miller or Dottie West to Douglas County?
You're talking about $10,000 to $15,000 for those artists, and whereas if you're talking about Huey Lewis, wants $151,000 guarantee just to come to the fair.
Okay. Huey doesn't do much fair going, I guess.
Yeah, he does a lot of fairs. Oh, sure. There's some fairs this size that put those type of artists in. But the reason is they charge or have a gate charge, or they have a bigger area. And to put an act like that in this fair would hurt the fair, because you just get so many people that whoever was here wouldn't be able to eat, get on the rides. You know, you can over promote a fair too. I've done that in a market up in Washington. We put 120,000 people on a fairgrounds one time with an act that is used to only having 60, and it ends up there's no food, they wait in line, there's no parking. People come to the fair and they get mad and they don't come back. So you can also over promote a fair as well as under promote one.
Okay, you mentioned to me that you go to Nashville and talk to a lot of the folks that are over there. Do some people not even consider going on a fair concert tour, or do you have to talk them into it, or what?
No, that's where the real market is right now. A lot of the artists have to play fairs to keep going. Vegas is down. They four-wall most of their acts now, which means that an act goes in and they take the door and the casino takes the drinks and the food. And these artists need fairs, because fairs right now are the best entertainment buy in the United States. Where else can a family of four go, see a major act, eat, see a show all day for under 20 bucks?
Okay, we will be back in just a minute. We're talking with Ed Doughty, who is from Concert Services, and he set up the entertainment for this year's Douglas County Fair. And Ed, I was talking to you before the show, and I'll ask you again about the new Umpqua Park stage. This is your 5th year here at Douglas County, and they've changed things around on you.
Two reasons. The first reason is that we needed more room. We were turning people away. It'd be an hour and a half before showtime, and people would come, and there's no place to sit. The second reason is, if you notice directly behind me, we were throwing the sound into that metal barn. And to get the sound to balance in this area was really tough. By taking the sound and throwing it out into the clear blue sky area, we can regulate it and we can stop it, we can control it. But up above there, we were hitting that barn, it was bouncing back at us. And as you know, it gives you nothing but problems with monitors and the sound.
Okay, I want to take a fair concert date through the rings. You know, you go back and you talk to the entertainment. How do you finally get a group to come to a certain fair? Say Douglas County, Marshall Tucker will be here tomorrow night. How did you get Marshall Tucker here? Who did you have to talk to? What hoops did you have to jump through and things like that?
Well, it all starts, like I say, in October. I try to find out who's coming through. And then I start looking for matching dates or other dates in the area. For example, like Marshall Tucker played Medford, and then we got him a date in California, and then one up in Washington, and they come down here. You can't bring an artist into the area, just one. You have to find other dates so that they can have a full week's work. And what I do then is just look for other dates. For example, last week we had 5 fairs going. One in Medford. We did the Portland Neighbor Fair, which did over 240,000 people in one day. And we did the Oregon City River Days. And so what we try and do is we try and find enough activities going so we can bring in an act and have supporting dates. With Marshall Tucker, that was the first thing we did. And then after we get him, then we start negotiating contracts. The contract is signed only after you mutually agree upon the writers. And in the writers, they have things such as their needs, sound, and lights. And most writers are geared towards indoors. And what we have to do is tear them apart and go to an outdoor stage situation.
Okay, I was asking you before the show, and I was talking to Bob Robbins. He said that you are the liaison between the talent and the fair. Usually the fair is the third or fourth person to hear about any problems. Are there any problems with the entertainment when they come through? Have you had any, folks complain or anything like that?
Not really. We pretty well comply to what they want, or we tell them that we're not going to give them things they ask for. Sometimes they ask for things that they don't need in an area. For example, they'll ask for tons of water, fresh water, and a lot of people laugh at it, but they go to areas where the water is terrible, and they need other things besides water, or that we have to buy bottled water. And, you just sit down and work it out with them and show them exactly what they need and they don't need. I hope there are no problems. That's why I'm hired. Most fairs don't have a producer, so that the fair manager doesn't have to do the things that I do day by day. For example, making sure that the stage is set properly, making sure the sound and lights are set, make sure that the food gets here for them, make sure the transportation, hotel reservations, and those type of things. It takes quite a bit of time. I spend all winter putting the 50 fairs and festivals together that I do.
Okay, you'll be here until Friday, Saturday. Where do you go from here?
I go to Longview for 2 days, and then we have a show in La Grande, then back to Salem for the Salem Summerfest, and then the next week I go up to Pierce County and to a town called Elma. It's Grace Harbor Fair. And then I have a day off. We go to Linden. And up in Washington, it's just offside the Canadian border. It's a fair of 44 acres. There's 3 major acts. This year we have Charlie Pride, Donna Fargo, and Jan and Dean. And then the week after that, I go to Bremerton, and then the Oregon State Fair, back to Bremerton again, and we just jump around. I've got 4 crews out doing nothing but fairs. 1 week we have 13 fairs.
Real quick, can you name off some of the entertainment for the State Fair this year?
I just happen to have that. We opened on Friday with Hoyt Axton, who has always done very well with us. On Saturday and Sunday we have Sylvia. On Monday we have Lee Greenwood. On Tuesday Ronnie Millsap. On Wednesday Roy Clark. On Thursday Ray Stevens. On Friday the Everly Brothers. Saturday and Sunday, the last Saturday and Sunday, is Paul Rear and the Raiders. And on Monday, Labor Day, we have Frizzell and West.
All great stuff. You know what's going to be here next year?
Yes, I do, but I'm not going to tell you.
I was going to try to pin you down with the last question. Okay, we've been talking with Ed Doughty, who is from EJD Concert Services, and he's out of Salem. And again, he sets up the entertainment that you're going to see at the fair. And don't forget, the 234th Army Band will be here at 1 and 8. Marshall Tucker tomorrow night, and Johnny Rivers on Friday. Thanks for joining us.